minute. I got somebody sitting in the comment section. Give me a sec. That's my man, Big Keith. Whoa, what's up, bro?
Wow.
Hey, Keith, you want to come on, brother? You just keep the link. The link's in the top. Come on, son. We hadn't seen him forever. You should be able to come on. You're on YouTube. Just click the link. I can't. Yeah, we welcome our dear brother, Mr. Big Keith. It's just Keith. I'm so happy, Keith. You make me so happy. I feel like a little girl in springtime. So, Keith, you want to jump in, brother? Just click the link, or I can send you one. Just let me know which one you want to do. I'll send you a link, or you can click the one that's in the comment section. We can really use you to come on and give your thoughts. As I was saying earlier, Gary Udick, he runs the North Americans and also shows like several shows in and around the Pittsburgh area. He also runs the Ben Weeder Natural Pro Am. That's coming up in another 2 or 3 months down the road. That is both a qualifier for pros and a qualifier for the Olympia. So that's coming up in November. That's my birth month, and also, he wants to be other shows, but it's another week till, where is it? Yes, here it is, the North American Championships plus the IP Pro Masters World Championships. I mean, this is I'm excited about this. Going to all the way to Pittsburgh, and the North American's been around for quite some time. So a couple of ladies I know have earned their pro cards there. At the show. I interviewed you a couple of days after I got the pro card at the show. And, it's a great event for me to go someplace different that I've never been before and to check out the venue. I mean, I think the registration is, was you have usually the first day, I think it's going to be for online entries close August the 30th. So if you are an amateur, you just did a show, maybe a regional show, maybe a few weeks ago or a few days ago, and you want to jump in and try to get your pro card, the August, the registrations ends Sunday. So I will advise you, if you want to do the show, especially with women bodybuilders, if you want to jump on the show and you need, and we can use the numbers. Just go ahead, especially with bodybuilding. Shout out to my man Keith. He says, what's up, bro? Doing an infusion treatment. Still send me the link. Okay, cool. All right. I'm going to do this since I got his phone number. I'll send it to him to his, to his. See, you lucky got my phone on, Keith. You're lucky I got my phone on. I'll send the link to his, to his message, to his drop his message. It'd be great to have him on. I love to see the big goof. But again, this is for me going to someplace like Pittsburgh. It's kind of exciting. Like you've been to you ever been to Pittsburgh? Because I know your family originally from New York.
Honestly, no, I never been to Pittsburgh. I mean, I would like to go there, but just again, I think it might with the traveling costs and such. Been I've been more of a northeastern person, been an eastern person myself, going as another of the eastern side of the states. I mean, I rarely go to the west. California was California, Nevada were the closest I ever traveled to at the time.
Yeah. Well, me, I grew up mostly in the country boy in the South. The furthest north I've ever been was Virginia, and that's been over 20 years ago. And the last places I went to was I went to Florida, when I went to Tampa, and I've been there at least that's my third time going there because I went twice to go to Disney World with my family. Then I went to Tampa to go hang out, help Eunice at the. That's where I got to meet you when I went to help her at the Tampa Bay Pro. Been through Georgia a couple of times. I was there when I went to, my first bodybuilding show was the Savannah Pro back in 2022, and then I visited my niece in Atlanta and stayed with her for a few days. Me and my other sister, me and my older sisters. So it was great. It was like my first time in my life I ever. It was it was around about Thanksgiving. It was the first time I ever went out of town on a holiday. Usually, we stay at town, chill out, do ya ya ya, spend time with families, kumbaya. But things have changed a bit since then. I mean, one year, my two older sisters and my two little nephews went to visit my niece up in Atlanta, and that was the first time I spent Thanksgiving by myself. It was kind of strange, but I put a little something together. I had some sliced turkey, a little ham, some mashed potatoes, something like that, and I made myself my own little Thanksgiving Day dinner. Shout out to my man, Notice says, what's the topic for today? Well, as you know, Notice, if you follow me, I'm planning on going to Pittsburgh, but we do this. We're going to have a little review of the Rising Phoenix Arizona Pro. There's some things yesterday's we didn't get into it too much, but we did talk about some things here and there. But it was really more like an open topic. What was going on after this season? Summer's ending. School's already started for the kids. The week after next is going to be Labor Day weekend, and that is the last summer holiday. And this is just like an overview of what I'm talking about in Pittsburgh. Also, we do have, if I check on it, if they have put it up yet, there is the upcoming Alita Popa Classic. Also, there's a show in Houston, which is they have a women's figure. And I do talk about figure quite often because, it's a division I kind of become fond of. And this should be out if I check real quick and see if they have set up the list for. Wait a minute, I think I clicked the wrong thing. Okay, pro banners. Let's see. Already. No, the list's not out for the Lita Popa Classic. And let me check the Houston Pro, which is on that. The list is not out for that. So I'll check and see if those shows have their lists posted. We talk about that. But anyway, going back to the the Rising Phoenix, it was a great show. I had a lady who was, other than Bev, there was another lady that had a boots on the grounds, Delilah Banks. Delilah is an NPC bikini competitor, and she lives in Arizona. And she was there. She went to the event. She sent me some pictures. She, even there's a video I got. It's of Andrea on the stage. She sent it to me. She took a recording of my girlfriend, and I got to share it on my other platforms. I shared it on my YouTube. I got it on my IG. I got to share my Facebook. We appreciate Delilah for that. A while back, she reached out to me. She was looking for help for sponsorship, and I suggested to her, well, if you're in the Arizona area, a friend of mine is supposed to be swinging by, and that's our dear friend Eunice. And she said, I told her, well, go check out the Triple O. She's going to be there, and maybe talk to her. And she did, and now she is a Bad Rap sponsored athlete, and also she's sponsored with Behind the Physique. They also started sponsoring her, and I think there's a connection with Bad Rap. And, I felt like I had a good part in that. Here she is, posted some of the Bad Rap gear she got recently. She's thankful, and she appreciates that. And I think she might be doing North Americans. I might hope I get to see her. Now, this is the video she posted. She just posted on social media. I can't play too much of music because it's copyrighted. She was there. It was the Wild Horse Casino. I mean, it's a nice little venue, nice little casino. She was there watching. There's also a dear friend, Bev. There's the winner of the Miss International, Cherish Richardson. There's Brittany Diamond just made her pro debut. You have Pikini. Don't tell too much about it. It's there. And you also have women's bodybuilding. There's Nadia Capasoto. There's Andrea. There's Megan. She looked really good. I mean, she came in and held her own against some top competitors. Multi-time Olympians. There's also that's Navia Ford. She competes in fitness. There's Cherish Richardson, who won the title for figure to the Olympia. There's Alex Hall. She's a great sport. I mean, it's just amazing, these ladies, here. And I really appreciate her sharing this with me. And I tagged it in my other IG. But it was a great event. The Rise of Phoenix Arizona Pro. Now, I think this, it's the Rise of Phoenix Arizona Pro. I know some stuff been posted. Shout out to also the hardcore bodybuilding media, and they did a little video where they did a couple of comparisons. Right here, we have here Andrea Shaw versus Lavinia Abados, and both ladies look great. I mean, I think one thing that I feel like it might hurt Lavinia a bit is her boobs. I think they're too prominent, maybe a bit too distracting. I know she got them a couple of years ago, and I don't know. I think that might can affect how you look aesthetically, especially when you are being judged.
Well, aren't they trying? Isn't the point of women's bodybuilders trying to be feminine, trying to be as muscular but also feminine at the same time, trying to show a hint of that? Show us, have as much mass as you can. Just still showing that they're still women regardless. It's
Yeah.
I know it's a side effect of what happens, what they have to use to, you know. But just saying, it's factual.
Well, I think with some women, they can carry it off depending on how the surgery is done. I mean, I was talking with a friend of mine. She said that if you're a bikini competitor, it's best to have I think under the pectoral muscles, because they'll do a lot of chest work. I think they can have them over pectoral muscles. I think that is, and then if you are physique or women's bodybuilding and or figure, those are the divisions where you do have to work on your chest. They want it to be a certain way. It's all about positioning. Sometimes, they can shift a bit, especially under the skin. Also, there's comparisons. As you know, finishing the top four. Also, you have Megan Morrison and Sherry Piami. Sherry is an amazing lady. She's been a guest on my channel a couple of times. I remember did my interview with her, and also she signed to become at the time a bad rap contracted athlete. One thing that Megan's doing is everybody else they do this when they come to pose and they come into the box. Now she's kind of far off. You can tell because especially in the video, because you can see how Sherry's standing in the box. She's like maybe a good foot away from the box. I don't know why she does that. Why not just come in the box because they really get a good look at you? That's I don't know.
I noticed that too. Yeah, I've seen some of the competitors flexing like yesterday. There's some of they were positioned off the box. I get there was like 17 of them, and I want to. I mean, I just I imagine them in their perspective, their point of view. Just do what the judges say. Just stay where you put and do your thing. You know what I mean? Well, I don't get why. I don't understand why Megan did that.
Well, the judges, most of the competitors know where the box is because, even though your lights are finished, you can see that box. I don't know why she does it. To me, you really want to get a good up close view of you. The judges are good ways. They're down there, they're down low, but then you're kind of far off a bit, so you really don't give much of a detail. I think that's something she needs to work on. If you're going to be at the Olympia, that's the biggest show of the year for bodybuilding. I think that's something she needs to work on. I mean, just be aware of that box. But it's a good lineup. Congratulations to the ladies that compete. Now, from your from your thoughts of the show, who was some of your favorite competitors, either in a division you want to pick?
Right now, I think I could start with bodybuilding. Easily it was your girl Andrea Levy. Levy was amazing. She really knew what she was doing. Like knowing that her dad was a bodybuilder, she really understood what it was about, and I could tell she knows. It's like she's like living, carrying what her dad did years ago. Sherry, I'm glad she didn't get lowered. I think fourth place was fair for her. I do appreciate. Um, I'm okay with Dr. Megan. I think she just needs some time to grow with her mass. I mean, the X ring was a little bit much. She just needs the rest of her proportions to grow to reach that mass since she was a physique competitor. mean, I mean, I like Paul. I mean, Paul made it, nailed it on her first try. Like she knew she had the condition for the start, and she already had the mass. So I'm just saying. Who else?
Well, I think Megan, she needs time to catch up a little bit. You know,
I mean,
how
yeah.
she, yeah, I think how she's going to do Olympia, that's a debate. As you know, she can probably crack in the top 10, but the top five will be difficult as long as you have people like most definitely Andrea, Angela Yo, Ashley, Alcino Brito, Nadia Capasoto. Well, Nadia, I think she was maybe sixth or seventh, because I think Patty was six, and I think Nadia was seven. Patty looks pretty good, but maybe she'd probably get Olympic qualification in another show. She's already qualified for the Masters Olympia next year. We have your man David. Shout out to our man said that's some serious muscle ladies. Rising Phoenix RP was an incredible show. Megan is gigantic and beautiful. Yeah, I give it that. She's gigantic. And also, shout out to my man says, I hope Sherry won't retire quite yet. She's the best. Well,
It's up to her. It's up to her. She was. Yes, to think about it.
yeah, 'cause I know she did an interview with my man Glenn of the Amazon Fitness magazine a while back. And I think she was discussing it. But I would say this: don't do Steve Carr might be too soon, or maybe too late for her. I would say there's a show in Mexico, and that's coming up in October. Now you got September to rest fully, and I think it's not to the 1st of October. And, she did a show. She did go out of the country. She did went to Portugal when she competed at the Portugal Pro, but they took second. But I would say if she wants to say, you know what, let me get one more shot for the Olympia. Let me do the show in Mexico and see how I do. If I get the qualification, you have the rest of the year to sit and chill and to rest and to relax. And then, you can compete at the 2027 Olympia.
Yeah, that's a good possibility as long as she's in good health. Since there's a reason why she was absent last year to begin with. Just hope the train doesn't affect her health. You know what I mean? Or her time with her
Mhm.
family.
Yeah, because she's a
Um,
mother of three kids. Her oldest daughter's a nun. I always get shot at that. Her oldest son just got into college, and her baby, I think he's in high school, I believe, middle school, high school, one of the two. And Sherry is, she's working with a new team. She was working with Boss Outlaw Stefan, and now she's working with Don Slice and Don Splice of Better Bodies. And I think this guy, I honestly think he really knows what he's doing when it comes down to uh, women, and especially women bodybuilders. He has a few physique competitors, but I think he's a better women's bodybuilding coach. Uh, Shout out to my man David it says, how about Steve Carr's show? Well, I'm hearing, and I think you might have heard, that Ashley might do that show. Yeah, if Ashley does that show, then there's no point in anybody else. I mean, you can go see, you can try, but if you have number two in the world in the Miss Olympia doing a show like Steve Carr's show, she might not do it. We're not certain yet. She might change her mind. But if she does that show, and that's always November, why not do the show in October and knock it out? Mexico is not too expensive, especially to the American dollar. I can take $1,000. I can go to Mexico and have a good time. I can live like a king because the American dollar goes farther in Mexico than it goes anyplace else. He says this. He says, "No, Steve Carr actually might regain her title. She's so awesome and sweet. Yes, and I got to meet. I got to hug her. So
she is a
but
sweetheart. Yeah.
yeah, but Sherry is she's an amazing lady. She really has, she was kind of disappearing in her placing at Tampa. Y'all were there at Tampa, you and David. She took sixth place, and
No, I think it was. No, I think it was seven. No, it was it seventh. I think
it
it was
was
seven.
six. It was
Oh,
six
six.
because fifth was Gabby Vega, and I
Yeah,
think she took,
Gabby.
yeah, she took six. Here she is, her. That's Amanda Machado who won at Tampa. There's her. There's Lavinia, and there's also Rania. That's a click right there. As you know, Rania, I think she's coached by a husband, and both Livy and Sherry and Amanda are coached by Best Built Team, which is Dom Slice. and they look really good together. There's a picture of them sitting together and take a picture. I said they look like kind of like sisters, or kind of like family cousins. And Sherry, one thing I think with Sherry is always going to be that her legs not going to be as big compared to the women in the women's body division because she was a physique competitor a long time, but her condition is really good. You can really see good roundness in the shoulder. She has a good taper, especially for a woman of 50 years old. She's 50. Can you believe it? You wouldn't think it, and she's holding her own. Here she is with a little video that was posted. That's from the Full Access official. As you know, it's her performance at the Rising. She has a great look, overall physique, and amazing body, especially a woman who had 3 kids.
Hmm. Still looking great. Giving her all. Despite what's been happening, I'm really do glad she came back for. Glad she gave her all getting a good spot. I do feel bad for the other ladies because they were giving their hardest too. I mean, Salika wasn't as I was hoping. I think Salika made the top 10. The others looked like they were. I mean, they should have avoided this contest and just stick to what they were currently playing. Like Gabby, for example, and she should have stick to preparing for the Masters Olympia. And
Well, as you know, the Rising Phoenix is invitational, and when you put in the invitation, that means you want to be there to compete. But we did have a couple
yeah,
ladies that dropped out. It was like around about earlier in the week, and that was um, Ava Manello, and also Virginia Sanchez, and also Lisa Apodaca. While I heard with Lisa, she was dealing with some medical stuff, and that's why she stepped away from it. With Virginia Sanchez, from what I heard, that she didn't want to. What's thing is, why keep putting the application? You're not gonna come to the show because she's gonna. I think she's planning on doing. That's why I'm waiting on the list for the Alita Popa Classic to see if she's going to be competing there because I think she's competed there in the past. Um, but with Ava, whatever reason why she dropped out, I think it's very personal. She's a young competitor. She's been competing for a pro for a couple of years. She's also Olympian herself. She got her qualification back in 2024. And she last competed before then was the Titan Grand Prix. I think she was next to the bottom. She's really come a long way. She turned pro like about 2 or 3 years ago. I think she had a pro card at the either North Americans or the Teen and Collegiate, aka the Masters Nationals in Pittsburgh. But I know I was following her because I follow Marilyn Yee, and Marilyn Yee and her was working out with Michaela Aycock. And Michaela, she looks really good. She looks a little happy now. And
yeah, she does.
yeah, she's focused on being a coach and trainer. Also, I think she's working with Shelby Starnes, and I think Ava is one of Shelby's clients. I believe so. No, most definitely Marilyn Yee is. You know,
Yep.
but she's. I think maybe she's a big girl because I remember I saw a picture standing with Judah Wessel. Judah Wessel is kind of a tall woman. I think Judah Wessel about maybe 5'8", and Ava's a
Mhm.
big girl. And it takes a lot more to put them on mass for these taller, bigger girls. Like someone like Michaela, she can put on mass because she's short. She's like not even 5 feet. And I'm wondering maybe if Ava don't feel like she can do like the writing thing, she might try to do Steve Carr.
Possibly. If she's up for it. I mean, I know Michaela is a great. Really came a long way. I'm glad she's coaching her to follow in her footsteps. Michaela lived through it. She knows what bodybuilding felt like, and I'm glad she's. And I really, even though Maryland placed the lower, I still think she did what she could. So I think she has to keep. I think she needs to plan on some new training, a new schedule, and what she'll do for the future. What her diet, everything. I'm hoping she. I mean, the longest she was runner up at the Steve Carr last year. So I don't know, maybe.
Well, Marilyn, being she's always going to be the smaller girl of the shows, but she has really come a long way. Remember, she turned pro back in 2022, the same year as Salika did. They were both compete the same show. They both competed at the nationals, but Marilyn, for some reason, it was some issue, and then she didn't get placed, and she didn't get a pro card that year. Then she did, as you know, that year that was when the Olympia was in Florida, and it was in December. So she like no more than a couple of weeks later, she jumps onto the Olympia amateurs and got a pro card there. I think she also won the overall at that show. And here's some of the ladies. This is a shot to Maryland. She gets some pictures here. We have Chelsea Dion. You have Michaela. You have Mila Ash, and you have um, Maryland. And here's some more. Maryland and Chelsea used to be roommates back in the day. I remember she
Oh,
talked
I didn't
about
know
it.
that.
Yeah, they used to be roommates. There was some stuff happened, and she told me that they don't talk too much anymore. But
Uh,
yeah, Mela, I'm a fan of Mela Ash. She's an amazing lady. Uh, she did a couple of shows. She was at the Atlanta Pro. She did Triple O. Uh, I think with Mela, I'm a fan of hers, but I think she really needs to maybe think about stepping away from a while, taking a break. I mean, some of her shows didn't do too well. I think she was in the top five of the Masters at the Triple O, but she was sixth, I believe, in the Open class. And that was the year that was just a few months ago. Lisa got fourth, and I think Lena Becca was fifth. And the top three was um, you know Patty Hansen, Salika, and Barbara Mojan.
And Patty actually still had a consistent place. Still was in good placing. Rania was pretty good too. Just ranked a little lower than last at the Atlanta Pro because it's understandable. She's up against the very professional. So it's uh, it's gonna be hard to reg against Andre and Levy. You know what I mean?
Mhm. My man David says this. He says, "I hope Ava goes to Steve Carr. I hope so too. Steve Carr is doing pretty good. This is when he made that announcement last year. And my man David did an interview with her. I mean, with him, and I think it was Brittany Parrish. And with Austin, he runs the show. Steve Carr is based on it's named after his father. Austin Carr runs the show. And Dave did an interview with him and also Brittany Parrish. That was the year she made her pro debut last year. I think Brittany said she decided to retire. I don't think she's competing anymore after that show. But maybe I was talking with her. She was going through some stuff here and there. She had going through surgery. She got her pro card a couple years before that, back in 2023. It was at the North Americans, and maybe she needs time to rejuvenate because that was her pro debut. She was going through a lot of stuff. She has changed jobs. A lot of stuff was happening to her. But I hope the best for Brittany Parrish. Folks, we're going to jump into this a little bit. They had a little event yesterday. It was on Olympia TV. It was on the YouTube channel, and it was the battle of the Olympia battle. They do it about every year, and it's when they get together some of the competitors from the Olympia. You have the top three competitors. Also, you have some of the top, what was the best of women's bodybuilding. And I watched it. I got to catch a bit of it. It was amazing. Usually the same people is there. Like you have number three in the world, which is you have Andrea, you have Ashley, you have Lavinia. Also, you had Angela,
Angela.
Angela Yo there, and Angela was number four. But still, she's been there ever since they started this uh, event about 3 years ago. So she's been consistent. She was one point number two for a long time. So we're gonna pull this up real quick if you want to check it out. It was great. It was fun to watch. These ladies talking, have a conversation, hanging out. I mean, it was cool. And I really, shout to Olympia TV, shout to Jake Wood for having this event. He was really cool. It was. I got to watch it. You want to watch the whole thing? Go to the YouTube channel and check it out. It was really cool to watch these ladies come together to train. Being there in the same division, and also they, not so much as a rivalry, but a camaraderie, a sisterhood. So that's really nice to see. Especially in the world of women's bodybuilding, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that we don't know. Like, if here's some stuff here and there, it can be catty. Some people don't get along as much as others, but it was a good event. I mean, I enjoyed watching it.
I didn't catch. I forgot. I forgot it was playing yesterday because I think it was playing around this. I think it played around the same time we were talking yesterday, and I had to go to work after that. So, I mean, I could have had time anytime, but I had other things to do. So, had
Well,
to.
actually, it was. I think it started a little bit after we did our live, a little bit after 5, because it started at 5, because it started at 2 o'clock, meaning 2 o'clock their time is 5 o'clock our time, and I think we wrapped it up around about a little after 4. So they started. Somebody sent me a thing, said, George, that they're having the battle, the Olympia battle. I said, what? I said, I didn't know. So I just popped in and I watched a good bit of it. It was great to see them talking, conversating, going back and forth. As you know, we saw in the video a bit. Angela Yo has an issue with her left arm.
Oh, that's gonna be. Oh man, how's this gonna affect her future? How's this gonna affect her competing this year? Is it? Hope it doesn't affect her concentration, everything. Oh, man, I hope she doesn't get ranked down because of it.
Well, as you know, technically, she is the 2024 Rise of Phoenix champion, and I think I was wondering, because she took fourth last year. I was wondering, was she still, because she was the Rise of Phoenix champion? Because I know one point you said that no longer, that if you win the title, you still get a bye like you used to, because now you have wins by at the Olympia. Only people that still gets that bye because they were the champions, like people like Alina Popa, Margie Martin, also Hella Trevino, but those ladies are retired. They're not thinking about coming back competing anymore. And Andrea, even if Andrea, like I said, if Andrea comes in fourth at the Olympia, she still gets a bye because she was the Rising Phoenix champion. She won it back in 2020, and and kept held up to 2024 when she lost to Angela. Um, I'm a fan of Angela Yo. I think she's a great lady. She's an amazing person. Some people might like some things about her. She's very into a very funky lifestyle, somebody might say, but that's her. That's something she likes doing. She even follows me on social media. I hope that, in the future I can do an interview with her. But I don't think she posts too much stuff about it. I don't think she puts a lot of activity on her IG stuff here and there. But this is from last year. Andrea, Ashley, Lavinia, and then in the top 5 you have um,
Alcione?
the Alcione and Angela. And Ashley, we should click on here. Ashley is a very, she's very active. She was at the Texas Pro hanging out a couple of weeks ago. A couple. I was about a couple of weeks ago, and here she is hanging out at the Battle of Olympia battle. She posts these pictures. Ladies are hanging out together, smiling. It's great to see women come together like this, and also forming a celebration of muscle, of sisterhood, of training. I mean, here she is hugging the champ. I wish I could hug Andrea. Ah, I hug Ashley. I don't mind hugging Andrea. You know. Also, we have here in the back behind these ladies, we have here Alita Popa, who I got to meet and also I got to do a hug to. And we have Mr. Jake Wood. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. I can't help her time I see it. And she has a great spirit about her. She's a beautiful person, a beautiful lady. It's a great opportunity to meet her. These ladies come together. Again, here she is with Angela and Lavinia. This thing, you see, it looks like some kind of brace. She didn't say what it is, what kind of injury it is. I think it might be a strain or something. But she was training, holding her own with the ladies, but she could only train too much with that one arm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Here goes Andrea. She's so beautiful, And then you go together, Alcyone and Ashley. And they go, yeah, something about, I don't know, something about Angela. She's just, whew, I mean, it's just that some about her. It is maybe some that she's that sexy golf chick. You get into it. Also, this is where I think she might be doing Steve Carr because they put her on the cover of some of the posters for the show. This is for women's bodybuilding. She's supposed to be representing that Steve Carr show. That was from Gilco. Uh, can't wait for the Steve Carr show. That's in another
Couple
3 more
months.
months. Yeah, 3 more months. You know, she's a coach and trainer. She's been working with quite a few bodybuilders herself. I think one of her clients is a figure competitor. She had a couple of figure girls because she started out in figure. But Ashley is an amazing lady. Very strong, proud woman. It just was a great opportunity to meet her when I was in Tampa last year.
Yeah, my experience with her was pretty good too. I really, she was like, I didn't get a chance to meet her at the meet and greet. She was like the last one to then sign my poster because there were so many people I met, and after when I didn't get to see her until finals was done, and when she was, I managed to say hi to her. She signed it, and then the day after that, there she was at the meet and greet where I had to film that historic moment for you. It's still did it for you, buddy.
Thank you, son. I appreciate that. I loved what you did. I mean, it was a great opportunity to, her to shout me out. It's posted on my IG, and it was a highlight, for me, for someone like her to take time out and say thank you, appreciate what I'm doing. It's like when I got this magazine that my dear friend Eunice of Bad Rap got me. I got the Bad Rap jersey. It's a good size jersey too. It fills me out. It's not really tight on me. I can button up a bit, and I
Yeah,
don't feel like Chris Farley in Tommy Boy, fat guy in little coat. And I love this magazine she got for me. I mean, it's a little bit free at the ends. I mean, I open the pages, I close the pages. There's not much else to look at because it's mostly dudes in here. But it's great when, again, this champ tells me she appreciates what I'm doing. I told this out every time I do my interviews because it shows that she generally supports. I've read it a good bit, and for so long, I probably know it from cover to cover. But it's a beautiful story that they shared with us, a contest, a history, what finds you know, Mexican magazines are dying out, but they don't cover as much of women like they used to back in the day. You know, but anyway, back to the Rising Phoenix. As you know, in the especially particularly the figure division, I was going to find. I don't know why they post anything from women's physique. I don't see anything on here. I'm surprised. I thought
really,
they
they didn't
posted
post
something.
anything about it.
Yeah, but I will probably go into Rihanna Vigek's IG a bit later on. But we do have the going into her, I think this is going to be her second or third Olympia. That is Cherish Richardson. Cherish is from Georgia. She competed a couple of weeks ago at the Atlanta Pro, but the other qualification that went to Nicole Zenubia Graham. And congratulations to her. She was a firefighter. She is a firefighter in her town, and she reason why she stepped away. I remember she was doing an interview after she won the qualification. Her godfather passed away a couple of years ago,
Oh,
and she decided that after that, after the healing reveals, and she decided she wanted to compete. So the first show she did was Atlanta because that's in her backyard, so it wasn't too out of the way. And then her next show was the Arizona Pro. As again, I remind people, if you are figure, physique, bikini, wellness, fitness, you're doing the Arizona Pro. Women's bodybuilding is the Rising Phoenix. It's called Rising Phoenix Weekend, but the contest you're competing in um, is the Arizona Pro. And congratulations to her. I mean, she put a time, work, energy. Her one of her biggest opponents was Caitlin O'Neill, and she actually competed there last year, and she took second there last year, I believe. Impressive young lady. I think it is a show coming up in Houston, and
Mm.
I would say to Caitlin, if you got the momentum after Arizona, I would jump into the show in Houston because there was a show also that same. It was the next day, which was in Austria. Shout out to the winner of that show. But if she feels like she still has the opportunity, I would say jump into Houston because I think this is the only show she did this year was the Triple O. I mean, the Triple O, the Rising Phoenix.
Mm.
Impressive young lady. Tracker. I might reach out for an interview. I mean, but this is what This is what I think they want to see in the figure division. Great muscle, great femininity, not overly big. Where you see girls who's doing figure that could be doing WPD.
See that.
hmm You know, Now one lady who was a guest on my channel previously, and that is the lovely Mrs. Stephanie Jones. Stephanie Jones has been a multi-time Olympia, and I think this is her, I believe her fourth Olympic qualification. She actually earned a qualification at the show at the Arizona Pro back in 2024. Stephanie is a coach, a mother, wife. A while back, her husband Bill got a little bit under really. He was really sick for a good while, but I've seen some pictures, videos. Look like he's bounced back. Stephanie has a great look to her. One point I interviewed her a while back where she mentioned that she was going to switch over to wellness. She did a couple of shows. She was at Chicago, at Toronto. Toronto was close. I think also I believe she got the Masters Olympic qualification in Toronto. And she's an amazing lady. I mean, she's been competing for quite a long time in this sport.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But anyway, there's so many amazing ladies in the sport. The fitness division wasn't as many numbers like it was, because it's a tough division. It's tough. I remember I was watching the Atlanta because it's Atlanta and I think Atlanta and the Arizona Pro and a couple others are the only few shows that have the figure division. This year is added to Chicago, and you only had 6 ladies competing there. One of the ladies was Danielle Chiklis, and she was competing and doing her routine. She had a nasty fall. It was bad. I mean, I remember I was watching when Michelle Gals had hers when she was doing her routine, and it was tough to try to bounce back after that. But these ladies, I gotta give respect because it's a tough sport to compete in especially a division like figure. Fitness. It's been around for a good while. It's the second oldest female bodybuilding division because it spun off women's bodybuilding when some of the ladies feel like they wouldn't want to push that size in women's bodybuilding. That was during the start of the Linda Murray era, and coming off of just a little bit after coming off of Corey Everson.
Yeah, but I changed. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So one lady who also been a guest on my channel is Maria Van Geck of her Hake. I mispronounce the name sometimes, but Marina, and she's from Chile, and she, this was going to be uh, this is going to be her second Olympia coming up, and she turned pro back in 2021. She got her first Olympic qualification at the Van Isle show, which was in Vancouver, but that show no longer carries any of the pro divisions. It was carrying women's bodybuilding, physique, and wellness. And the promoter Corey decided to drop it this year. I mean, it was kind of disappointing when I heard it because I often speak and talk about the show because hey, it's a show that still had women's bodybuilding. It was one of the handful of shows that exclusively had. Well, they still have the amateurs. They have most of the male divisions, but it was also for pros. It was one of the few women only pro shows. But Maria is Mariana. She is from Chile. She's a mother. She's a lawyer. She has a son that's autistic, and it was close between
Mm.
her and with some white. She's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I think one thing I think might have done it was her back, her condition from the back. The back can make or break how you look. She has great, smaller waist taper, good conditioning. I mean, she did Texas the week before, and when I saw the list, I said, "Wow," you know, I felt like it was going to be between. This is a video here, and it got it kind of upside down a bit. Whoever took the camera view really need to work on it. This is the pose down from the women's physique division at the Arizona Pro. Janetta Johansson. You have Alex Hall here. You have uh, Sarah Creel. It's Nadia Herrera, I think it is. Brooke Piggin. These were the top 10 ladies at the show. There's also, go off to the side, you have Blanca, Rodriguez. The one thing, with their PD, their post downs, they just don't. They, I feel like they don't be animated enough. I feel like they don't really put as much of an effort as you look at women's bodybuilding. Sometimes women's bodybuilding don't put so much of effort.
It's really hard. I mean, at least with women's body, at least you can tell what they're doing. At least it shows how they are represented. With physique, it's kind of hard to tell how to do it in a post down. Like,
Now here she is. It's a picture with her between her and Winsome. They're both shorties. I think Winsome got to be at least 5 feet, and you know I think Mariana got to be at least maybe I would say 4'10", because if Winston's like 5 feet or maybe 5'2", they're really short. But you really see, I think the waistline, I think conditioning. If they had a picture of the back, we can get a little more. But both ladies looked really good. I mean, it was close. I was watching it at the end, and this is something I saw that Winston wasn't too happy. She wasn't. I've actually one point she actually left her check behind. Because when it's time to talk to the person who wins, you pick up all your stuff, you go off. If you get a check or something, you go off, and she left it. Um, I think a couple of other ladies, usually like I see one thing I see like when somebody wins and they have a good camaraderie, they hug a little bit, they kiss, they say, "Okay, congratulations," and you move on. Only person that did that was Alex. Alex hugged and kissed Mariana. If I can find a video someplace, I think I got it somewhere. I got it somewhere, but she's a good sport. Alex is, I never met Alex Hall, but I heard a lot about her. She's a good person. But the other ladies, not as much.
hmm. And that is, I mean, yeah, I guess it really truly depends on where you're ranked. I mean, at least with the other ladies who were ranked lower, at least they show respect for each other. I guess that maybe Alex was trying to. I mean, I know Alex did compete in Tampa. I never got a chance to meet her, so I'm pretty sure um, she competed in a couple of other shows as well. So I'm guessing she was trying to really want to get to the Olympia so bad. I mean, okay, I'm not saying she's desperate. I think it's just giving her all into it. It is competition.
Well, the thing is, you when doing the sport, you gotta understand this. There's gotta be a winner and gotta be a loser. And you can bring your best, but that person might bring themselves better. And sometimes you're not competing against another person, you're competing against yourself. It's you versus you sometimes in that stage. And if you know that you have the confidence and the ability and strength, and you bring the best look to you, that's cool. It's great. You know, but one young lady I want to give a shout out here while we are talking about is Georgiana Rowland. And Georgiana, young lady, I've been following for quite some time. Actually, she follows my IG. I'm hoping if things get settled, we can do an interview because I'd love to get her on as a guest and talk about her experience at the Triple O. Actually, I was talking to her on IG a little bit. Says, "Well, ask her, you gonna do the Rising Phoenix?" I said, I mean, sorry, I said Triple. I said, I said Rising Phoenix, and he says, she says she's gonna do it. Well, congratulations. I mean, here she is.
Very impressive. Yeah, I was impressed by how she was the other day too. Definitely made me cry. Yeah.
I told you, you manifested.
Yeah, she just get the crown. She's 24 years old.
Woo! Wow. That wow. Another another new face, and another new
Yeah,
face, Eddie.
and that's still she's not even she's as my man Jerome said, she's barely whipped. She's still whipped by her ears and breast milk like Similac. She's still pretty much a baby, and this was her bodybuilding debut. She actually her first show was it's the same show that Bev competed at was the Lila Brother Classic in Texas, and that was no more than about a month ago. And impressive young lady. Some people that know her, they're talking with her. She's taking this time next year off to work on a few things to improve. Because after that experience competing with some of those top ladies, she knows she needs things to work on. So she might take a couple years off or so, work on her size and conditioning. She's there. Here she is from the Lila Brada Classic, which was pretty much about a month ago. It was not a month ago. It was like early this month. So barely like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she looks really impressive. I remember Bev competed there, and she told me, "Hey, this is a girl." I said, "Who she is?" I said, "Oh yeah, I follow her. She follows me on IG." You know, and they talked backstage. They really were, you know, happy to be there to get the opportunity to compete.
Well, yeah, I'm impressed. Yeah, she really put a lot of work into it at a young age. I definitely think a year would give her some more time to, a break, just work on the adjustments, considering that she just competed with some of the best pest professionals that have been doing this for many years, for a number of years now. So, yeah,
Yeah. Take that time. Use that time to invest in your growth and your process. You're still young. You don't want to burn yourself out. You want to take a year, good. You want to take a couple years, that's good too. Because like I said again, you're just 24 years old. You don't, you unless of anything, something, whatever, you have the world in your hands. So take advantage of that, young lady, and enjoy that time. And congratulations on welcome to the IFBB. So again, it was a good show to Triple O. And
it was
I enjoyed
it was
watching it.
impressive.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get it at one point because they do charge you for both the prejudging and the finals.
God,
Yeah.
why did they do that? That was so dumb. Like the last it was the same website that hosted the Linda Murray Pro, by the way. It was like, okay, it was a bit okay, it was a little pricey, but at least it was, at least it was all together on video. Doing it separate was really uncalled for. They should have done it in one video.
Well, Wingstream's got to make their money. It's about making money for them. Not everybody can afford to go all the way to Arizona, buy a ticket, stay a couple of days, and check the show. Like myself, it took me a while to save for this trip to Pittsburgh, and I get a little help too because you know what I got my family friends want to help me out some because hey, you never know something might happen. You might need a little extra cash in your pocket, but that's the thing about 4G shows. It's expensive to like depending on the show. Some shows it's reasonable. Some shows can be an arm and a leg. Especially in seating. Like I remember when I went to Savannah, I had to buy the tickets. I bought tickets ahead of time, and then I think I bought because I forgot how much it was for the VIP to sit a little closer. Now it was not too expensive then, and there's different prices for the prejudging and between the finals. Finals is going to be a little more cheaper because it's the start of the show, and then the prejudging. I mean, prejudging is going to be a little cheaper, but finals will be a little more expensive because it's the bigger show. The venue for the pay per view, I think I shelled over a little over $40 because the each stream was like 20, like let's say 20 some dollars and change. That could be $40 I could use for my trip. But you know what? I didn't want to meet that. I didn't want to miss that show. It was a great venue. I didn't want to miss it.
Oh, so the physical tickets for live. So yeah, that's understandable. I have no problem with that. Honestly, it was just I was kind of upset about the live stream prices for the contest. That's what I was mad about. I just
Well, the thing about it, the physical ticket's going to cost more than the live stream.
I
So
know that I at least I know I found a way to work my way around, and I really think with the C car show, I think this will be no problem for me this time because I really think this is a contest I should go to, and I think this should be easier too. Yes, it may cost me to go to Vegas, but hey, that's what savings and car Klarna is for. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like some people can put it on credit. You can pay for it later. I,
Yeah, credit. Oh, don't get me started on credit cards. Trust me, it's they add up as soon as you start doing it. So I use it
I could
carefully.
I can tell you a true story. I was a little bit younger than you. I was around 25, near about 26. And
Okay.
I remember a while back, we had an air conditioner. Where we lived at the time, we didn't have central air heating. We had to have our own, we had a kerosene stove, or we had a little heater in the house so we keep the house warm. And then in the winter, we had an air conditioner. Our air conditioning went out, and and I said, well, I'm gonna get another one. I bought one air conditioner, was too small. So I went to, if you never heard of it's Babcock. Babcock's one of the biggest furniture stores around here where I'm at. And I went to Babcock and I paid for a new air conditioner. Why is that? Because that helped me build some credit. I think with maybe a few months later, I get two letters for two credit cards. And I was working because I was working at a gas station part time, and also I was working at a textile plant called Sophie. Sophie got a good change. So one credit card was I think it was a Visa through no, it was Mastercard through Capital One. Another card was American Express. Now with Capital One, you just paid a few dollars every so month to keep it up. But with American Express, you have to pay everything that you buy. I was doing pretty good. I was doing pretty good. But then I think that year, I think we got laid off for a bit at my main job. And money it can stretch. And sometimes I bought stuff with the credit card. And I got behind and I lost my credit cards. I remember this is a true story. It was like me and my sister Jean. We were out about shopping, and we stopped by Walmart, and we